All right, welcome to the Lockdown Podcast. We are here to cover this current, like the last 7 days in WWE. Um, Kind of a mess, but we'll kind of work our way through it. So obviously, Money in the Bank was yesterday, so there's plenty of fall to get there. We'll just kind of slightly run through Raw and SmackDown, things that basically didn't happen at Money in the Bank, and we'll work our way back to it. Um, so you have the continued Liv Morgan Judgment Day, whatever you call it. Um, so it seems like Liv Morgan's paying more dividends than frickin' Rhea did, sadly. There's obvious contention between the group in regards to Liv Morgan's being a good person to have around, a bad person to be around. You have Drew Mc or not Drew. Yeah, you have Damian Priest. That's basically kind of wishy-washy with the involvement from whether it's the Judgment Day goons or anybody else in his matches. He seems to want to win his matches straight up, no BS. Um, and he seems to not be able to get away from that. Um, so so what do you guys think as far as just, the Liv Morgan, whatever all encompasses as far as Judgment Day? Like, what do you guys think of the value of Liv Morgan versus Rhea?
I could see it happening. And I can't wait for it.
Can't see.
And with her being part of the Judgment Day, I like it. She gives Judgment Day a little bit of a new look, kind of like.
A little more positive energy put in versus like a threat tactic, basically.
Pretty much. That's the way I look at it.
I think the build up for Rhea coming back and Rhea versus Liv, I think with this whole Judgment Day involvement, I'm going 100% with Rhea. I think there's got to be a lot of retribution. She's Liv is basically breaking up the band. I mean, the crew definitely does not need someone like Liv. Yeah, I just don't like it. I'm more interested in, will we get NXT Finn Balor back, and will Judgment Day become something with a lot more bullets in it?
Do you think there's so many moving parts and so many thought processes going on with the Judgment Day that it's literally like a tornado right now, because you have some people that are all about Liv, you have some people that are like anti-Liv, you have Damian wants to do his own thing, essentially, kind of, hey, I don't need anybody. You know, he basically had the stip match at Money in the Bank, with, hey, if you lose, you basically leave the Judgment Day. Obviously, that wasn't going to happen. I don't think any of us really liked how that whole match went down. Just in the sense of, we have Money in the Bank, which, having that briefcase for a really long time, it's just like you're just you give a couple like possible cash ins, or just make everybody think about the cash in, and now essentially we sit with nothing on the men's side. So you basically now your champions on Raw and SmackDown and the men's side of it. There's no fear of who could cash in on me, because that ship has sailed. So now we basically have another L in the Money in the Bank briefcase cash in, which really just kind of, it sucks. We miss the allure of, the Money in the Bank briefcase meaning something, and now it's been tarnished by stupid CM Punk. They could have easily screwed him over without having him win the briefcase. It would have made more sense for CM Punk to screw him out of getting the Money in the Bank versus cashing in the Money in the Bank.
Well, I guess we're really jumping ahead to it. there's got to be something else that's coming down, that's going to happen, that's going to make us not forget about that element of the Money in the Bank briefcase. So what could that element be? I really think it's hard to say. Man, right now I really want to see how this Judgment Day plays out, and what we can start to see some final outcomes to how we're going to break Judgment Day apart, if we're going to break Judgment Day apart, and what is Liv's ultimate goal with her involvement with the Judgment Day. So I'm interested in that. Let's either pull the trigger sooner than later, and let's just start building Rhea returning and what that looks like, and going on that.
I think she's almost ready to return. She's
Well, that
right
would be
now
good.
just enjoying her honeymoon.
Yeah.
Did you see the possibility? And obviously, these are all pipe dreams and rumors and whatever about her coming back with basically kind of a form of House of Black in AEW, basically, and coming back with basically extra bodies. But I mean, I don't know how much
Well-
truth it has,
Well,
but I mean, anything's possible.
so like other WWE superstars would be joining
Like,
her.
I mean,
Like-
there's been some contracts that are done in AEW, and I don't think AEW has as long as a whole period for their releases as WWE does.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I kind of breezed through it, and I kind of just happened to see something.
Mhm.
I mean,
Are you talking about the rumors things? The ones I was seeing is all the House of Black members' contracts ending soon,
yeah,
and
that-
had a
that's-
picture of her with Rhea with them, and some type of House of Black WWE style almost.
yeah.
The
I mean,
only reason why
it'd be a good twist. I mean, it'd be basically like the same thing with like the Bloodline Civil War that's happening, and now we have a Judgment Day Civil War. Like,
yeah.
I mean, do we need another one? No, but
No.
I mean, it'd be entertaining
don't.
as hell. I mean,
would.
long as the performances, the wrestling was really good, and the story complemented the wrestling, I wouldn't mind seeing AEW's House of Black in WWE. But at the same time, we've got to see how contracts play out. We've got to see what stories are headed up. It might be a short tenure for some of those wrestlers, but I think the Judgment Day as a whole needs to go away.
I know the members of House of Black is not too happy with AEW, but if Tony Khan offers them a good chunk of change and whatever
just
and talking their name,
but like
mean,
if they're not producing,
money,
if they're
yeah.
not putting up the numbers that they need to, throwing money is eventually going to dig themselves a hole.
it definitely
Because-
will.
Like
I'm
WCW.
sorry, but like you've seen, and I get it, the viewership ebbs and flows as it does, but if it just ebbs and doesn't flow, and it just slowly, because it's like, you see the quality of the product is garbage. You see this Edge, and you have Mercedes Moné talking about this is the best wrestling. Where's where the best wrestlers are, and then you see clips of them just completely botching moves and like
We can't-
overselling moves,
We
and it's
can't
just
talk
like,
about botching without talking about Money in the Bank. I mean, those things happen, and those nitpicks happen with each company in each period of time. You can talk about last night's Saturday night's premium live event for Money in the Bank. You can talk about the several botches in there. You can talk about other promotions and their botches. I just really there's got to be solid performances with characters that we can get behind, and if we can't do that, it's kind of hard to see someone wanting to stay with one promotion. They want to try with another. We can see people jumping ship from both companies, both major brands. Yeah, so
people are very disappointed with, like, there's been a lot of chatter about basically people are not happy with Mercedes Moné, and there's just an overwhelming tension. And, you know, if they kind of continue causing tension, it's only a matter of time before the rubber band snaps and people just, oh, my contract's done. All right, deuces.
yeah,
You know, and you can continue to throw Scrooge McDuck money at them all you want, but like, unless that money is, you know, guaranteed to some capacity, like, I mean, AEW is not selling shows out. They're selling more black carpet than they are seats. So I mean, it's tough when you talk the talk, but like, the reality is we all see the reality, and you know, you can go ahead and try to throw money, and that's all Tony Khan does is throw money. He throws money and tries to think that this is relevant content, these are relevant wrestlers, and you know, the big ones get their money. Everybody else just basically get just enough to be better than a different promotion. And
I don't know about the money side of it. I do know that, yeah, you know, there are people that are looking to leave and try different things, you know, when their contracts expire. I am more, you know, interested in how we're going to see Judgment Day presented, whether or not Rhea comes back at SummerSlam or she comes back, you know, at Survivor Series. I want to see how Judgment Day on Raw is going to go, especially, are we going to get that Finn Balor from NXT just a couple of years ago, where he was just relentless and ruthless, and that's the Finn Balor that I want to see leading a faction. I don't want to see this, you know.
He might look at the way he Damian Priest told everybody to stay out of his business before he went out to his match. Everybody else turned around and looked back to their TV when they're playing the video game. And you got Finn that just had that pissed off look, and it's like, yes, boss, and whatever. I think he's gonna snap soon.
Yeah, that is what.
So I looked at.
Yeah.
So I looked at basically the highest paid, or the average salary. Average salary in AEW is about $300,000. WWE is $350,000. Now, obviously, WWE has plenty of them on the payroll that aren't even wrestling, but they're getting their paper. But WWE is selling stuff. WWE is selling out stadiums. They're putting good PLEs. They're doing what they're doing. AEW's not. And so basically, it says AEW wrestlers make about $300,000 a year, but it says the highest paid ones. Let's see. It says Jon Moxley at $6 million a year, Chris Jericho $5 million, Mercedes Moné $5 million, Kenshi Okada $4.5 million, Kenny Omega $3 million, Young Bucks like $2 million. So that's a lot of names and a lot of money, where I want to know where the hell you're getting it, honestly. Like,
well, his dad is
most likely his daddy.
His dad is a multi-billionaire. Excuse me. They've got investments. They own several sports entertainment.
They're going to be digging holes. The mob will come to collect.
I can see the way they're going. They're going to end their company just the way WCW did.
You know, I disagree with that. I think there is a lot of value in AEW. Just like with WWE, there were growing pains. We got to see we can see our way through it. I think eventually they'll make the changes necessary to once again be a more viable alternative to WWE, but also, it's kind of like it is going up against a conglomerate with a startup company. There are going to be those ebbs and flows, and being sustainable and being able to still stay a bit ahead of the curve is going to be paramount for other promotions to get a larger piece of the market, but they're not going to overtake WWE. WWE would literally have to implode in order for anyone to take a big step into their market. It's just going to take time for companies like AEW or TNA or even New Japan to get a stronger household name recognition outside of WWE. That's just what it is. When you have 50 plus years of being the only game in town, and then for a couple of years back in the 90s, people were looking at an alternative, and then that alternative goes away. It's business. At the end of the day, it's business. We can talk about their business model, their structures, their stories, their performers, and say, whatever we want to. But at the end of the day, you have these smaller companies. AEW is a smaller company going up against basically a conglomerate. And that's what WWE is, especially if they wanted to lean over into their UFC partnership, which they did earlier this year with a premium live event for NXT. So it's a lot to try to take on. And I would be more concerned with AEW if they were, canceling shows, if they had mass layoffs, if they weren't, doing more hiring, if they weren't doing any of those things.
Here's a number.
Yeah.
Here's a number for perspective.
I understand what you're saying.
AEW estimate makes about $84 million. WWE, $1.095 billion.
Exactly. And how long has WWE been in business?
WWE's been around since like the 70s or the 80s, and
that's the net revenue of 2021, and that's like just out of COVID. So I guarantee you it's higher than that.
AEW's been around for about 5 years,
5 or 6 years. So and
I expect a low number, but the problem is they're hiring talent like they have that big money. So obviously they're digging out of daddy's pocket. I get it, but like you're literally half your let's say 2/3 of your roster are digging into about 70% of your profit share. Like that's a big deal. That's a big ask.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. And the reason why I disagree with that is because I've worked for a couple of startups, and I've also watched people do startups. One of your largest money sinks is not necessarily employees. It is the operating costs of the business. All right. What these TV deals are supposed to do, or one of the things they're supposed to do, is help offset those operating costs of businesses. You've got to spend money in order to make money, and making money means getting people into the seats, getting people to watch the shows. We're supposed to be talking about Raw and SmackDown, but yet we're spending a considerable amount of time talking about AEW and how they're losing talent when their contracts come up and stuff like that. So we're still spending attention to talk about them. So they're not going anywhere. I mean,
they're not going anywhere.
But
I mean, I don't think they're going out of business. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, it's when you have plenty of money backing.
The way they're going so far with their company, the way their 3 shows they got. Don't get me wrong, they're great. I enjoy watching them here and there, but I'm not going to sit and watch the whole damn show. I watch clips and bits on YouTube, but I'd rather watch a full episode of Raw or SmackDown with WWE.
And that is because that has been what's presented to us. Now you have this alternative. When it first started out, you couldn't miss an episode. You wanted to see what these ex-WWE guys are going to do. You want to see what these new guys that you only heard about on the internet were going to do. And now that we've got these weekly shows and they're kind of competing for the attention, you kind of gotta, you kind of gravitate back psychologically back to what you're used to. We're used to this WWE machine. I find it challenging not to pay attention to all pro wrestling when it's just so many,
Well, do you think that AEW, it's the wrestling's fine, it's the in-between stuff that they need to get a handle on?
So I think it's the presentation.
WWE has great production on the outside, outside of matches, great promos, great backstage segments. Do you think it's the
production? It's the production of TV pro wrestling. I read on the internet for an article that they want to present themselves as a small company, but have this big presence, and I think that is a conflict. Just
that is true.
Do the work, and the work is give us alternatives to what WWE is doing. They're really focused in on right now very dramatic stories, not as much wrestling, but when the wrestling happens, it's being compelled by what's told outside of the ring. Alternative is give me really great wrestling matches with build-ups outside of the rings. I think that would be interesting. Like they're having these old school 90s and 80s interview based conflicts between different performers instead of just the one-off promos. So it's like, I saw one faction talking to another faction, and an interviewer was trying to interview both of them, trying to kind of keep them apart or whatever have you. I don't think the audience wants to see that as much as they would want to see something that's more dramatic and more cinematic, as what WWE has been doing over the last few years. It's, not as much as with an interviewer as opposed it is like the main parts telling the story. I think that in a way could help the product. Or maybe you just lean into just being, having it very athletic based, the drama of being a professional wrestler and the conflicts that you have with people, and then you got to settle in the ring and have the ring tell the story. Like I don't even know how many matches were on Raw, but I know that I'm just looking back at it.
A lot of it was just leaning into Money in the Bank. I mean,
right. Those go home shows, maybe they don't have as many matches, and AEW does put on a series of matches. Like, there's 7 or 8 matches.
I mean, so do you think it's just kind of yin and yang? Like, AEW invest a lot in just the straight up matches because they do have such a deep roster versus WWE that has a deep roster, but they only can run so many storylines.
Right. I think that is it. And if you are more match heavy, you don't have to rely so much on outside of the ring stories to push those matches. You can have match after match and you're building this athletic, it's kind of like watching a football. It's kind of like watching a football game. It's play after play after play. So match after match after match, and you get through a show. But it's got to have a rhyme and a reason. We've got to be telling some type of story for Western audiences. In Japan, it might just be match after match after match, and you're just watching. Each match is its own story, which I think that they're trying to do in other promotions. WWE.
I mean, that is kind of the old. That is the old school way of doing things. I mean, that's how WWF was. That's how WCW was. It was like the story gets told in the ring.
And maybe ownership is like that. But I really do think we should like just unpack all of the AEW stuff. And give it the time that we can allow it to breathe, because we still got to talk about Raw. We still got to talk about SmackDown. We still got to talk about Money in the Bank, boys. So let's go.
So we'll just break the skinny. So, I mean, Raw, just qualifying match is nothing too special. But so what I'm intrigued about is the fact that, Raw, SmackDown, we already know what's going on. We're festering right now on Money in the Bank and the fallout from that more than Raw and SmackDown. So Braun Breaker does not get a title at Money in the Bank. I'm pissed. I'm pissed.
Oh, you know what?
I was happy about
it. I like Sammy, but I also think that Braun has positioned himself to get a title.
You know what?
And they didn't do it. They put Sammy in his weak ass haluva kick, and somehow wins that match.
They had to do it that way. They had to do it that way, and the reason why is because I think in the Triple H era, if there's a pay-per-view or a premium live event in your hometown, you should get a win for your hometown.
Yeah, tell that to Drew McIntyre.
You know what? That's right. Drew McIntyre didn't get the win.
He got the loss twice in his hometown.
Yeah.
I mean,
but Alba Fire and that group, they did get the win. So there's that.
But the IC
that feeling of
is
like
so weak.
I don't care how weak it is. There's representation of your hometown boys or girls winning, and so you can go home feeling good, because Kevin Owens and Randy Orton and Cody didn't get the win, so you went home on
tell me you don't want to see Braun Breaker versus Sheamus at SummerSlam.
I don't have neither one of them have to have a title for me to see that can be on Raw, and I would enjoy it. But what I want to see, what I want to see is good storytelling with some feel good moments, with some not so feel good moments, with some ups and downs. And I think,
so you want to watch Days of Our Lives?
You know what? That's what WWE's been about the last couple of decades. Finally they're leaning into it a bit, and they're making it, an important factor, that drama. So Sammy beating Braun gives me hope that if there's hometown representation on a premium live event, that someone from that hometown or hometown area is going to win. So I don't feel like I'm living in such a loser city. Why would you even come here to do a show? I mean, they had Trish, they had Sammy win. There was a lot of downers on that show. Mr. Cena talking about, I'm gonna hang it up. Let's go on a world tour.
Have you seen all the stuff about his shirt though? And how it has a door on the back. I mean, we literally just got into this whole Wyatt 6 drama and everything, and he just happened because he was in the Firefly Funhouse that one time against Bray Wyatt, and he had a picture it was basically him in there next to a door. And now do you think it's an Easter egg or it's a happy coincidence that he has a door on the back of his newest shirt that says,
I don't know,
the time is basically the time is now.
You know what? Let it be both. Let it be like,
I think it's a tribute to Bray.
It can be any number of things that we want it to mean. But I enjoyed the work that John Cena does. What I would like to see him perform in person. Yeah, I'm not going to go out of my way to do it. I mean, they have to come. They have to come to Grand Rapids, Michigan, during his tour in order for me to be like, all right, I'll go see John Cena. Other than that,
I don't even know when the next time they're even in Grand Rapids, even honestly.
You know what? Well,
I don't know. Yeah. I honestly think that we need to laptop up, dude, and we need to go to like a PLE and frickin' do a like live like frickin' recording.
November 20th, 2020. Oh, that's 2023. WWEGrandRapids.com says someone bought this domain name. Someone bought WWEGrandRapids.com November 20th, 2023. Like, how dare you get my hopes up?
Platform buyer, dude. He's a domain hunter, dude. He's a domain hunter. It's like whoever took the Lockdown podcast on YouTube. I have to put Lockdown Podcast 1.
Oh,
who dare? I need to go track this guy down, and I'm going to steal it. It's mine.
Oh, you know what? You should see if he has any other content, and if he doesn't, then you should like go and.
You should be like, bro, get out my box.
Yeah, like let me have this. Let me have this. So you know what? I would like to see John Cena perform. I wouldn't be heartbroken if that never happened, but I do think
let's say I've seen him a couple times in person. He puts on great matches.
Yeah, so I mean, I would like that.
I did my favorite match with seeing him in person was at WrestleMania 23 when he defended the WWE Championship against Shawn Michaels. That was a good match. Before the one fan that ran into the ring in fucking whitey tighties.
Oh God!
That was
good TV.
He ran from the upper area all the way the fuck down, jumped over the barrier and ran in there in his whitey tighties, just going. And then the camera had to go off him.
Okay, so since we're going down the trail of that, who do you think would be the worst wrestler to try to interrupt? Like in
a match?
If it was like a fan came rushing in, who would be the least wrestler that you would do that on besides Brock Lesnar?
Anybody from the bloodline. Anybody from the bloodline or anybody from the Final Testament. Anyone that's bigger than you don't want to do that too.
Dude.
We've all seen that video of that fan in like Germany or whatever have you, where they interrupted that Stone Cold Triple H match and
Triple H beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, but Stone Cold was just watching him, and and then the ref was getting in kicks. I mean, or that one fan that like attacked Bret Hart and FTR.
Everybody was just beating the shit out of them.
While they were walking him out, the one dude from Cash or whatever he's going by these days sucker punched him while they were walking him up. He was like. He looked around and just kapaya, just in his face, and he just crumbled. I was like, "Oh God!"
Just like that one dude, that one dude of that one fan that came in the ring and uppercut fucking Orton right up when he was doing his little pose, and Orton came down, and started beating the shit out of him.
I literally
say my name one more time. Say my name. Say my name.
I don't think anybody really wants it with a pro wrestler, especially with a pro wrestler who incorporates any type of MMA into their daily like training regiment. Like I would never run up in like on a Samoa Joe.
Dude,
come on. See, I went to a house show and I was with with some of former of my friends that I used to go to hang out with. We had front row seats to the house show. This is when Chris Benoit was still in the company. He was the world. No, yeah, he was. I think no, Rey Mysterio was the world champion at the time. It was a match between Matt Hardy and Finlay. Man, me and Finlay, we were going at it. We were just cussing each other out. Matt Hardy's like opened up the ropes and invited me and tried to get in the ring. Oh, we were just going at it. We were saying things. I told him I will get in there and beat his ass. Make him my bitch.
It's like say wrestling's fake one more fucking time. Say it.
Right.
Say it's fake.
Right.
Say it's fake.
I would want to see those guys like go in there and and then just learn immediately that it's not.
Dude, have you seen the times when like the Great Khali literally hurt someone? Like because his freaking hand is the size of Texas.
Yeah, he hit somebody right across.
I think he chopped. I don't know who he hit, but he chopped someone literally to the point where it cracked their skull. Like, go ahead, say it's fake one more time.
I think he's fake one more time. He's killed somebody with that chop. Oh man! When he hit him hard enough.
Dude, I don't want a Gunther chop either, dude.
A Gunther chop is.
That's like a clothesline hell of a chop. That's like a chop.
I would take one Gunther chop because I've seen people like take chops and, yeah.
I would take one.
Tell that to Sheamus, dude. Like the whitest man. He's the whitest open canvas on the roster. Like if he gets any kind of anything, you see it.
Oh, it gets all bloody.
Or was it? I don't know if I don't know. Was it Daniel Bryant that had? I think it might have been from.
Big Show.
The Big Show, I think. And he like popped blood vessels on his chest.
Oh, it was.
I'm sorry. Fake, Yeah.
I think
staged, yes. Fake, not so much. I want to see you do these moves.
Nope. Yep. Everyone on this podcast agrees it's staged. It's entertainment. But
it's choreographed
everyone's committed.
Perfection. It's choreographed.
Everyone's committed. You're 100% right. Everyone's committed.
Oh, see, there's our rabbit trail.
Yep. You started it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
You started it with a streaker, and I just
true.
It wasn't me this time. It was not me this time. So we'll go with Tiffany Stratton winning Money in the Bank. Do you buy it or do you sell it? Because I am buying 100%. That was the only person I wanted to see win the Money in the Bank. Like Zoe Stark's been a jobber. Naomi doesn't really have a purpose. Io Sky won it last year. I actually
thought they were going to give it to her for they can have another person win back to back because the first person that ever had back to back was CM Punk.
Yeah, I mean, Lyra Valkyria, she's a newcomer. It wasn't going to happen. She basically put on the performance much like Carmelo Hayes did. You weren't going to win it, but you put on a great performance, and that's respectable. But there's no one more on the ball right now than Tiffany Stratton. Zoe Stark has been barely been above a jobber with Shayna Baszler, and you think there should be
booking
more
of her. She should be more, but it's about marketability. It's about
because she doesn't have big boobies.
She's not. She doesn't look like she's 20 something. It's a shame because really the more believable performers would be someone like a Shayna Baszler, a Zoe Starks, an Ivy Nile, a Nia Jax. Tiffany Stratton comes off as being a diva.
Now the real question is, who does she cash in on?
Oh,
she said at the press conference that she's going to go after Bayley.
Yeah.
Bayley. They can say what they want up there, but if they're very on par with Edge being the opportunist, I feel like she's going to linger and linger and linger, and she's going to cash in the next 3 months, guaranteed. She's not going to hold on. She's not going to hold that thing hostage. She's gonna let that shit rip. Probably at I'd say like SummerSlam, Elimination Chamber, somewhere in that realm. Somewhere in August, September, latest October. But she wants to win that championship now. So, I mean,
she would. I think she would. It would be better for her to, or I think the better booking would be.
I mean, I think it only makes sense to do Bayley because Liv Morgan has such a program right now, and that whole Rhea Ripley thing, you know, that whole story that's slowly festering, it wouldn't make sense. And I think, like I mean, anything can happen though. That's the kicker. Is that we can read as many theories and rumors and publishings and whatever we want to read, but guess what? We're not reading the WWE script. We're just reading rumors.
Yep.
So,
and I think that's where we're at. Is we want to see really good cash-ins that mean something and that have continuing stories. And I think Bayley is the only option, and
it's the only open option at this point.
Yeah.
Now, so we've talked before about, you know, the fact that okay, so now the new tag team champions on Raw are, you know, of course, Judgment Day, JD and Finn. Now we've been talking about how the fact that basically Waller, in theory, haven't done anything with their titles. And they finally had a match and they got freaking beat by DIY. Congratulations to DIY. They have very much so earned it. And
yes,
I really just think it's really funny. Like they're sitting there, we're the greatest tag team ever. No, you're fucking not. You're not even in the top 100. Like, you know,
what else are they supposed to say? We're lucky we got these.
I'll take Braun Strowman and that kid, the referee's son. I'll take them over them. And what's so funny is that the kid looked like his dad. So like it was so played. It was so well done. You know, no one knew until after the fact. But you know, so shout out to DIY. Now, do you think there's tension amongst Awesome Truth? Because R-Truth just does R-Truth. We could talk about R-Truth for days. I mean, the stupidity and the creativity that man brings to WWE is unmatched. Freaking R-Truth.
Oh yeah, he brings a lot of. He's just hilarious in WWE, and on top of it, he's fucking hilarious on his TikTok when he goes live on TikTok, and he's responding to some of my messages on there when he's live. He's just fucking hilarious all the way around. His rap music's not that bad either.
Yeah. So I don't know why my head spins in circles.
He was just here in Grand Rapids for one of his concerts.
Yeah. So on the topic of people that are trying to retire, like I don't think there's been really anything new regarding AJ Styles. No. Now, do you see any lead up? You know, where's the storyline gonna end? Essentially, with AJ Styles supposedly retiring. I mean, we know he's gonna retire, but it's like when? Like, have you guys read anything in regards to AJ Styles? Like what he's?
I haven't, but if he does retire, how they've been teaming up with TNA, I would love to see him retire in a TNA ring. That's just my opinion.
You know, I don't know how I feel about him retiring in a TNA ring. I think that's 100% nostalgia, but if he does, he does. I mean, maybe he retires in both WWE and a TNA ring. WWE comes first, TNA, you know, he has a match, he retires.
But if he does go to TNA, he better come out with some of that old school TNA theme.
But the only problem is that it would be a Rush storyline. He has storylines in WWE, and it would just be. I mean, he does, but he doesn't. But like, you know, it would just be like it'd be, you know, a rushed storyline for him to go to TNA. I mean, the only real crossover with TNA right now has been an NXT, and so I don't see it. I don't see him going to TNA, you know, to finish. But he will definitely finish on his own terms. But I mean, given the fact that, you know, AJ's not gonna go down, he's not gonna go down to NXT. You know, he's not gonna, because that's really the only bridge to TNA right now is essentially NXT. And the only time they've had TNA people on was basically during like the Royal Rumble. But even then, Jordan Grace went right down to NXT and did that whole spiel. And so, so Monday, what will Monday bring?
A lot of chaos.
I mean, do you like
maybe a beach ball?
Oh, I could see Drew McIntyre coming out at the beginning.
Yeah,
Drew or Seth.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, now, Adam Pearce deserved it. He earned it. He earned whatever happened to him. Yeah, he
I heard
elbow to the head.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah. You know what?
Adam Pearce is a dog, dude. I love it. Like, honestly, I
don't like him.
I like Adam Pearce. I love Nick Aldis. They both they wear their emotions on their sleeve. Literally, AP has constantly said, "God, I need a beer." like, you know, I just
you
don't know.
You know their wrestling instincts. They both were wrestlers, so their wrestling instincts when they get pissed, they're like, "Oh, I want to get out there."
You know, but I like the fact. I mean, it was nice when obviously Adam Pearce was doing both, but obviously that's a lot of work. So obviously, and like Nick Aldis don't take no shit either, though. Like Nick Aldis
should be back in the ring.
AP
Nick
don't take
Aldis
it.
should be back in the ring.
You know, like
100%.
I want to have just a brewing of. I want to go back to the old school, you know, the regular way of Survivor Series where it's, you know, brand versus brand, you know, supremacy, you know. And let's say in the 5-on-5 you have AP and Nick Aldis on the teams as captains.
That I would love to see. That would be great.
Insane. Like, but again,
that would be awesome
in the land of pipe dreams. But I mean, I want Survivor Series to kind of go back to the regular format. I don't need you know, I'm all for like the War Games. They could make a PLE just called War Games if they wanted to. You know, I feel like the War Games match doesn't need to be at Survivor Series. I think it could be its own thing. I mean, because NXT has essentially kind of dropped off of that particular branding of a PLE. So I feel like WWE picking that up, like just having, you know, WWE War Games, like just call it a PLE. I mean, they've been bouncing in and out of different pay-per-views for you know, years. You know, so I think War Games would just be a cool, you know, kind of like Hell in a Cell. Now, what about a Hell in a Cell War Games match?
That
would be insane.
That would be insane. You got like literally just the
two big giant fucking Hell in a Cells,
like another like 20 feet above the ring.
See, if I want to go with some type of cage match, I want to bring back the cage they had in WCW with the three tops, like the small one, medium, and then the large, like the Hell in the Cell. I want that. That would have been nice to see.
You're asking someone to die. You really are. I mean,
pretty much.
The late 80s, early 90s were like, yeah, sure, I can climb up there. I mean, that's when our metal wasn't imported. Okay,
Mick Foley wanted Undertaker just to destroy him, and he's
he pretty much told him to slam my ass through that shit.
Do it.
You know,
he kept pissing him off to provoke him.
Mick Foley is literally in like the top 2 like most hardcore wrestlers of all time.
That's how he lost his ear, and I think one of his front teeth.
Yeah,
who do you think would be another hardcore
in the hole? Yep.
Who do you think would be another let's take the top 3 hardcore wrestlers of all time?
Abdullah the Butcher, Terry Funk, and Mick Foley.
But I do like Hardcore Holly. It was,
but he was just he was a bully. I said what I said.
What's the other one from?
I like his theme song.
Oh my gosh, what's the other stinking guy's name? He always had the kendo sticks.
Sabu.
Steve Blackman.
No.
Steve Blackman. He's another one. There's Sabu.
Well, there was
Sabu. Yep.
There is Sandman.
Like ECW days,
Sandman.
Raven.
Tim just said Sandman. Tim just said it, Sandman.
Black hair, black beard, like black goatee. I can't think of his name.
Black hair, black goatee, and he had kendo sticks. That's Steve Blackman.
Steve Blackman had a goatee. I know I
think it was a full beard.
The ones that I know the most that used kendo sticks the most was him, the guy we were just talking. Sabu, Sandman, Raven, and there's one more guy I can't think of off the top of my head.
I can't think of his
that
freaking
used
name.
kendo sticks a lot.
I can't think of it. It's gonna drive me freaking nuts. Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, Tommy Dreamer's another one. Yeah, he was another good one with kendo sticks. That was his ghost.
I couldn't think of his freaking name. It was driving me nuts. I had to like freaking sidebar myself.
WWE just fucking ruined him.
Or what about Raven and his freaking grocery cart?
New Jack. That's all I gotta say.
I like Raven, but I like his entrance music the most.
New Jack was one of a kind.
But they did have some sweet hardcore matches. I think the only hardcore match that I ever seen in my life was on a Sunday Night Heat.
Mm-hmm.
Is when JBL had the hardcore title and he was taking on Raven, and the freaking thing they brought out just to beat the crap out of each other was a fucking kayak. They were just beating the shit out of each other with it.
So do you think that when Netflix, in 2025, when Netflix gets rolled out and they start kind of breaking out of PG, do you think they would bring back a hardcore championship?
I hope.
No.
I
think
crossed. I kind of hope, because I think that's great.
Gone. I think if they're gonna do anything, I want to see women get more singles championships. That way, we can validate more women's careers by having singles championships.
I agree with that.
They brought the secondary title in NXT, but they didn't do anything in the main roster, which blows my mind because usually it's the other way around.
That's how it starts.
American Championship came out of the Intercontinental.
If they were gonna resurrect anything, I give the women, something like a women's European title championship, a women's North American championship.
I would love to see the European title
a women's
back.
Walmart clearance aisle.
Oh God, there you go.
I gotta have our sponsorships.
Oh yeah. They're not a sponsor.
This champion got brought to you by those random Matchbox cars of the Walmart clearance aisle.
You're better off asking Temu. All right, so Monday night, what are you most excited for Monday night?
I mean, Drew and Seth are both pissed, and both pissed.
Let's not forget Wade. Let's not forget Wade. Yep,
and Wayne Barrett's pissed.
Yep.
So, because for once now Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins are both they're kind of on the same page. What if they just beat the piss out of CM Punk? Let's say CM Punk comes out for whatever reason on the beginning of the show, right? And then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, Drew and Seth both are like, you know what? We're both pissed at the same guy. It's a pipe dream that's going to happen, but freaking Claymore followed by a curb stomp. I mean,
that'll write him off TV for a while. I mean, I'm all for it. Yeah. Tim, what about you? What are you most excited for?
I'm excited to see the whole Drew, Seth, and CM Punk thing, but I want to see how Damian Priest feels, because he did say he went off and said what the fuck type of shit at the end of that match. He was pretty pissed.
Well, because he wants to win clean. Like he's the heel, but he wrestles like
As
he's a face. Like he wants to, and maybe that's
I think he's kind of going back and forth
turn.
on that.
I mean, maybe we need a few more anti-heroes. I digress. So I'm interested in the mixed tag match with Liv and Dominic versus Zelina and Ray. I also want to see if there's any fallout with the New Day and Karrion Kross in his faction. Let's see if we can get. Let's see if there's any more movement with the Wyatt Six and Chad Gable.
I think there's going to be more. I think leading up towards SummerSlam, I think all it's going to be lately is these videos.
You know what? I think in the grand scheme of things, having more videos, having it a slow burn to another eruption could be a lot of fun for a lot of people. I would like for it to, I would like to see the other members start to make their in-ring presence as opposed to they're just there in catering. You know what I'm saying?
And the other thing I wanted to bring up is when do you guys think Tamahama, the other bloodline member is gonna join soon? The 6'8" guy, the big brother.
Yeah, the literal tall big brother. I would say the latest SummerSlam.
That's where I'm thinking so too, because he is signed. He is signed to the WWE. He is on their roster.
Yeah,
but they just don't know when they're gonna do his debut yet.
It could be after they, do some, Florida training with him. Getting him, acclimated into the system. Doing that. I don't know if Zilla has been signed, which is Umaga's son. So I don't know if he's been signed at all.
I hope so, because I would love to see him.
I think a lot of them honestly are signed very, very conspicuously.
Which is fine,
you said so Fighter, you said the word that I literally couldn't think of the other day, and that's acclimated. And I was like, and now you just said it, and I'm like, shit, that's what I was looking for the word the other day.
So
kind of like when you get used to how WWE does things, and I couldn't think of the friggin' word. And all of a sudden, you just said it, and I was like, "That's the word I was trying to look for." So it says the Raw lineup is Jay versus Chad, which that just seems like a gateway to the Wyatt Six.
Yeah.
Damage Control versus Lyra Kyria, Katana Chance, and Caden Carter. Could care less about that match.
That could be interesting.
Zelina Vega and Rey Mysterio. You said Liv Morgan and Dominic. That one.
To be honest with you, that's gonna be a boring ass match.
No, you know what? It could. I don't think it'll be boring, but what I do think is it'll give us a little more insight to what Creative Control wants to do with Judgment Day and this whole Liv Morgan thing and Damian versus Finn.
I'm gonna say this. I'm starting to like it.
Your mic we just lost you, bro.
Oh, there we go. I was saying I'm starting to like Dominic Mysterio.
I'm not.
It's a mustache. You like the mustache?
No.
Oh hell no, not the mustache. he needs to shave that. But no. He's just starting to rub off onto me.
He's not. He's the honestly, he's the greatest hated person in the last 20 years of wrestling. I give him that much.
I want to go to a show and hear the fans boo him and see how loud it actually is.
Oh my gosh! I remember when Triple H was like, "I thought that was piped in noise," and he's like, "No, but it's really loud out here."
He's like,
but the thing is though, I chalk it up. Like I will give him the respect and the regards to the fact that he just has weaseled his way into being legitimately the most hated person. Like. People will listen to anybody. Anybody will be able to get to speak, but he just. I think he has like 5 sentences that he can just slowly use each promo when he's out there, and however they come out, they come out. Because
I think now it's just like his shtick. His, it's not that they hate him. It's just that it's just the thing that they do. Like when LA Knight and Jimmy were on the ladder and they were punching each other. Yeet, yeah. So,
I want that to be a tag team.
You know what? Yeah, yeet, yeah. I think yeet, yeah, would be
a lot better name.
Yeah, yeet,
yeah,
yeet. Oh God. So
we should make shirts.
Oh God.
You got
we should make a shirt with the logo and just tag them in it. Like here,
yes.
tag team, make it happen.
I mean,
come on, Triple H.
Did you see the wrestling guy fan was in the front row again?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's wearing the white smiley face shirt this time.
Yeah, he's.
There's an article out on him about he's like rich and he
has I watched an interview with him. Somebody interviewed him.
Mm-hmm.
He's saved up a lot of money to do these things. Plus, he says he has some shares into the company.
He owns 20 porn studios.
Oh God!
And
that was not in the article.
And on top of it, Jay Uso, how he was there, and Michael Cole announced it that he missed out his Roman Reigns' dad's funeral that day. They had it yesterday, just for him to be there, be at the show. He missed out on it.
Oh, that's another part of this business that people don't talk about is the sacrifices and the compromises that you make in order to entertain people. Like, just.
Well, I mean, it's more for the international ones than it is anything else. Like everybody else, I mean, you kind of do, but like you can at least kind of move around a little bit. But it's like the international ones. I mean, to
miss out on a family member's going home celebration or funeral, to perform and to do your work and honor your contract, that is definitely a compromise and a sacrifice that you make, that a lot of people don't realize that these performers and these production people have to go through. And I'm
going on the road.
You know what? I'm sure that he Jay said and did what he could to let the family know that why he couldn't be there, and I'm sure that they understood why he couldn't be there. But at the same time,
I've seen pictures I've seen pictures on Facebook of the funeral.
Yeah. So I mean, it's it's a hard business. And to be able to just give
it's
back,
weekly episodic plus live shows. I mean, so it's I mean, they're probably doing 4 shows a week minimum.
Yeah, minimum.
Pretty much.
And then the training that you have to do. So you're working 7 days a week. At least 7 days a week. That's not to say that you're not having 2 matches one day, or you're not training in the morning, working in the evening.
There's some that find the balance though.
I think it happens
really
over time.
The one person that honestly that I have an immense amount of respect for in his life work balance is The Miz. Like if you've ever looked on like Miz's Instagram or Twitter or whatever, like he's always doing stuff with his family. Maurice had that whole health scare. Like he was there, like, and yet he still will show up and he'll wrestle and he'll do his work, and
he does a lot.
Tough. It's very, and he had like he has the Miz and Mrs. TV show thing. And so like he's doing a lot, but he's also making time for his family, which is a rare occasion in, the business that he's in,
Mm-hmm.
But like, the Miz, I mean, he's got freaking money for freaking days, but like, and you have a lot of these wrestlers that literally can go week in, week out, like freaking multiple performances, in some weeks. I mean, their bodies are freaking gotta be like calloused for days, just doing it as long as they've been doing it, like 20 years. I mean, you're talking like you've wrestled 1,000 matches, like if not more than that,
Mm-hmm.
But I digress. We will see what Monday brings us. We will be here next week to kind of break down the week that it is, because we have a lot on Raw. We got Bloodline crap on SmackDown. We got Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa getting basically solo pinning Cody Rhodes at Money in the Bank, which seems like a foreshadowing moment. We're still getting more tapes from the Wyatt Six of the Bo Dallas interviews, the continued Judgment Day stuff. And so there's a lot of moving parts, and we will try our best to pick through them and make our own, calls on storylines, rumors, a little bit of pipe dreams as we do, a little bit of rabbit trails. But so we will see you guys next week. I hope you guys have a great week. This is the Lockdown Podcast.